What's going on, guys? Car Review Guys here. My name is AJ, and today we are with the 2024 Mercedes-Benz CLA 250 4MATIC, aka all-wheel drive. If you are not familiar with what 4MATIC means, this is going to be the full review. We are going to start with the exterior stats, figures, all that kind of stuff after the cinematic, of course. And then we are going to be jumping into the interior, checking out some of the things in there, and then we are going to be taking it on a drive. This is the press vehicle for this week. We are over 20,000 subscribers. Thank each and every one of you. New vehicle next week. Without further ado, let's get into this review, because the next video is going to be 5 things to love, 5 things to improve. Let's roll. Starting with some of the stats and figures I feel you guys would want to know, this CLA 250 has an inline 4-cylinder turbo mild hybrid pushing 221 horsepower and 258 pound-feet of torque. Transmission is an 8-speed DCT, which is dual clutch transmission, if you guys are not familiar. All-wheel drive is the drivetrain. Curb weight's going to come in at around 3,616 pounds, which is going to be pushing the CLA 250 from 0 to 60 in an impressive 6.3 seconds, all while getting the gas mileage of 25 city, 35 highway, and a combined average of 28. You are looking at a 13.5 gallon tank. Vehicle dimensions, you're looking at overall length around 15.4 feet. Your width is around 6.5 feet. Vehicle height is around 4.7 feet. And your ground clearance is around 4.3 inches. Now, the base price is going to be starting at around $45,200. The tester today does definitely have some options, and it is at $61,370, including the destination charge. Let's do a quick exterior look and point out some of the things you may or may not notice from afar. So, obviously, super bright LED headlamps. There is an option, which this tester has, to where basically it will turn at night, so that way you, it's called active headlamps, I believe, and you can actually see around corners. It'll kind of light up at an angle. Also, taking a look at the grille, if you look a little bit closer, it is made out of Mercedes-Benz emblems, and that's a pretty neat little touch. Stepping on back, there is some black wheels, which I do think look pretty good. I don't know if I'm a fan of the silver exterior on them. I had a similar wheel on my C8 Corvette whenever I owned it, and that's the only part of the design I don't like. Size of tire, you're looking at a 225/40/19. This vehicle does have parking sensors on the front and the rear, like you can see them right here and then up there. And of course, it does have the 360 camera as well. And you can note that by seeing it here on the side view mirror. Up top, you've got a sunroof, which you can see just kind of looks black, to be honest with you. And then these side mirrors are also with the black. This basically has like an AMG appearance package, if you will, but it is not an actual AMG. Now, on the door handles, you may not notice, it is on all 4 doors, keyless entry. Hopefully you can see the little thing there, and up on the front as well. It is also an option, I must point out, the chrome on the door handles. I don't remember the exact price. I'll put the window sticker up here, and you can pause it at any point in time. Continuing on around, I really love the profile of this car. The rear, I mean, is probably my favorite. I like the front as well, but just the way that it kind of slopes back, the profile is really beautifully done on this vehicle. Now, to pop the rear, just simply press in on the emblem there and it shoots up super fast. There is enough room for a golf bag, maybe 2 with some extra luggage in there. And of course, as always, I will put the numbers here for cubic feet. Also, when shutting the trunk, just to note, it is a manually shut, but it does automatically pop open. Stepping into the rear, I am 5'9". I test every single vehicle. Is it easy or not? And just taking a quick look here for you, that's where my seat sits at 5'9" to drive. So you can kind of see the legroom there. Now, let's test it. So, stepping in, this obviously is sloping back a good bit, if you can see that. So kind of ducking down nice and slow, easy. Slow entrance process, not made to be a big rear seat, not what this car is. Now that we're back here, yeah, it's definitely a little bit tight. My hat is actually touching the roof. And then this is how much leg room I have at 5'9", probably about 1.5 inches, 2 inches, maybe. You do have 2 vents here in the rear, and you do have a USB-C located down below. You have some seat back nets or pockets, whatever you would like to call them. And then looking over at the door for the materials is nice soft leather everywhere. Love the premium materials. You also have some ambient lighting. I'm not sure if you can kind of see it in there on the door handle. That is super nice as well. Switches, of course, always feel a little bit more premium on Mercedes-Benz. Last but not least, over in the middle, you do have a little pull down here. And if you press in right there, it pops out. You got yourself a little cup holder and another one on the other side with obviously an armrest. Let's test the front now. Much easier, different pillar design in the front, obviously, naturally, how it has to go. And super easy to get in and out of, especially in the front. In the rear, yes, especially if you're any taller than me, good luck. Taking a look at the door, there is heated seats. There is no option for cool/ventilated seats on this vehicle unless you go to the AMG. If you get the actual AMG, then you can have optional ventilated seats. Definitely a little bit of a gripe for a car that's like $60,000, but still a super nice vehicle, and you can definitely tell in the engineering the price point, and we will go over that in the drive. Now, you have different finishes here that you can choose from. I believe between 3 to 6 options. Interior color, this is actually like a gray with black, and on the interior colors, there's 6 to 7 options. So you definitely have a lot more variety as far as Mercedes-Benz goes versus some of the other vehicles that are significantly cheaper. Out in front of us, we have heads-up display. You have the signature big screen. At least it appears like it, right? There's actually dead space in between, but it does look nice and clean. Love the graphics of Mercedes-Benz. It is really good. Like, you can touch it, super responsive. You can slide through, just like using, you know, an iPad, Samsung X20, whatever. Super responsive and nice. And as far as like features and stuff, there's really not too much to go through. It's pretty standard for Mercedes-Benz. So if you're used to it, I mean, it's the same layout in every Mercedes-Benz vehicle. You do have some seat kinetics here. You have your ambient lighting, which again, there's like a bajillion different colors you can choose from. I think it's like 64 to be exact. You can probably see it right there. So plenty of options to go through. Nice center screen. Start stop button, and then your auto stop start, always turn that off for me. That's what I do. You have ambient lighting even in the air vents. You have ambient lighting all along there, up top there, over there, and over here. So there's a lot of ambient lighting. It looks super, super cool at night. Looking at the steering wheel, this steering wheel is really thick. That is one of the first things that I noticed whenever I got in and touched it. Really a thick wheel. Pretty good materials. It's a little bit on the firm side for sure. And then looking at everything on the wheel, again, pretty standard for Mercedes-Benz nowadays. Up here you can hit home, and that's basically going to be controlling everything up here in front of us. If I hit these buttons first to close all this nonsense out, okay, hit home. And like I said, you can go through, you can set it to whatever you want. We can select it as navigation. We can hit OK on that, and now it's navigation. Again, you can change it through a bunch of different menu options. We would be here all day if we were to go through every one of those. Now, over on the right-hand side, all of your multimedia controls. This is going to control this screen, so if I'm touching it, you can kind of see it going through. And last but not least, on this left side, the cruise control features. This does have the optional driver's assist package, so this does have the adaptive cruise control and lane centering. Going down to the middle, you're going to notice a USB-C all the way around there, around my tall water bottle. Sorry about that. You've got 2 cup holders, you have a little scrolly knob for the volume, and then your different drive modes. It's labeled as dynamic, and you can see right there, eco, sport, individual, and comfort. I'm generally always in comfort for the most part. Checking out the center console, it is rather small. It even kind of slopes. I don't know if it's going to show up on camera. I guess, yeah, you can kind of see it there. So yeah, and then you got a couple of different little charging ports in there as well. They're USB-C. Up above, just touching very quickly, obviously your different map lights, all LED, and then looking at the sunroof. Oops, I guess if I hold it, yeah, it literally, okay, there you go. You're gonna press all the way back. There we go. So there it goes. It's honestly kind of like a sunroof and a half. You can kind of see there, it goes about halfway back the rear window. So it's definitely a good size. And then just to touch on the temperature controls, get my water bottle out of the way for you guys. My apologies. And it is dual zone temperature. Just a quick look at the cameras. You can see the 360 there. And of course, the backup camera, super crystal clear. I think that's pretty much going to wrap up the interior. I think it's time we get this out on the road, and that is really where Mercedes-Benz shines. Obviously, they have amazing interiors, but this vehicle in particular definitely shines on the road. So without further ado, let's roll. As already stated, I generally always go over my first impression. My very first impression was honestly the steering wheel. It's pretty thick. That actually really did genuinely surprise me. I did not expect that. Not that it's bad or good either way. It actually feels pretty good in your hands. I actually kind of like it. But it's just not something that honestly is in every single vehicle. Matter of fact, my silver 2017 NSX that I had previously, now I have a red one. That actually had an aftermarket steering wheel, and it feels very similar to that, to be 100% honest with you, which, like I said, is interesting. Now, 0 to 60 wise is, again, about 6.3 seconds, and this thing is definitely peppy. The mild hybrid just helps you kind of get off the line, then the turbos kick in, and then you're rolling. Like, definitely peppy. Even passing power, very, very good. Driving it on the freeway, even still at those speeds, plenty of passing power. Now, as far as suspension goes, very responsive. I mean, very, even in comfort mode. Now, you go to sport, yes, definitely changes it, stiffens it up, super responsive. Road noise is always super important, at least to me, and especially when it comes to something more luxury, being a Mercedes-Benz. Now, let's start with wind noise, meaning cars driving by you and just flat out just driving. It's really good. It's really quiet. I don't hear much. Road noise, as far as the tires go, yes, you can hear those just a little bit, but definitely good and above average compared to most cars. Now let's get out here and use this all-wheel drive 4MATIC system, and let's roll. I mean, it will absolutely get. The 4MATIC is great. I'm a huge fan of all-wheel drive. You guys know that if you're not new to my channel. Also, whenever it comes to noise, let's touch back on that now that we're out here. Like I said, just giving you some real examples. You can't even hear these cars going by because it is that refined and it is that good. Touching on blind spots over to our left, the pillar's pretty thick, but it's kind of far forward, so you can see back there pretty good. Over to the right, a little bit of the slope on the back windshield kind of blocks you just a hair, but again, definitely acceptable and not bad. If you have any issues, blind spot monitoring is equipped. It's nice driving along, seeing the heads-up display out in front of us. I do enjoy that as well, and that is an option on this vehicle. Now, coming up, one more test as far as suspension goes, and the noise, it's the cattle guard. We do it every single week, every single vehicle, so here we go. In comfort mode, very good. For as sporty as this suspension is, very good, very maintained. My body's not really moving, the car is absorbing it. As far as noise goes, again, pretty good. How does the lane centering work? Well, guess what? Let's find out together. It honestly, I mean, it's the same as any other Mercedes-Benz. It's the same software, same programming. So as long as you have the option on your car. Now, don't expect to have it because it is a extra option, meaning you paid for it. It is not standard by any stretch, and it stays dead center of the lane. I have just a little bit of a crook up here. Let's just see, just to make sure. And yeah, dead center, turning to the right. Now it's turning back to the left slightly, and we're good. So very good system as long as you have that as an option equipped on your Mercedes-Benz. Definitely a very, very solid vehicle if you want to have a sporty vehicle, yet still practical, right? You've got a trunk, you still have space in the rear. It's not obviously the biggest rear seat, but maybe you have like little kids or something, and that's certainly more than enough space for them. Definitely way more practical than, let's say, a Camaro or a Mustang, for sure. You can definitely tell it's very refined. I have had it on the freeway at freeway speeds. Not going to do it for this. I've done it off camera, done the testing. I'll set my cruise in Arizona, certain depending where you're at, it's 75, 80 miles an hour, depending where you are. So setting your cruise at 80 miles an hour is no different than just being on the street. So that tells you how refined this is. There's many vehicles you get it out on the freeway and it's a totally different character. Not the case for this. It feels totally cool, calm, and collected at 80 miles an hour, right? You should always have two hands on the wheel, but if you don't, you can have one hand on the wheel and not have a single problem. Very smooth and rather enjoyable to drive for sure. If there is anything that I am missing on this vehicle that you would like to know, please comment down below. I try to respond to every single person, and if I don't know it, I'll try to reach out to my Mercedes-Benz representative to get an answer for you. Again, next video, 5 things to love, 5 things to improve. Hopefully you guys enjoyed today's video, and as always, I'll catch you guys on the next. Peace.